With respect to mains, we generally hear this. The questions in mains or the themes in mains are relatively more predictable compared to prelims. The main syllabus is more well defined. Is predictivity is one thing, but what if we say that in ethics, 50% of the themes are not just predictable, they are repetitive. हम 2024 के पेपर की भी बात करें, 50% of the questions are direct repetitions from PYQs. अगेन सुनने में थोड़ा सा अनबिलीवेबल लग रहा होगा, लेकिन अगेन देखते हैं कि रिसर्च क्या बताती है. एंड ऑल्सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट गिव्स अस understanding. If there is so much repetitiveness in the themes that are being asked, it gives us the luxury of having ready-made templates for those repetitive themes, and half or even more than half of our answers can be prepared beforehand, even before the question is asked in the actual examination. Let's take a few examples so that you get more clarity. Today we'll be taking up two questions. One is this: the application of artificial intelligence as a dependable source of input for administrative rational decision making is a debatable issue. Critically examine the statement from the ethical point of view. Now, guys, this particular theme has been repeated from a 2021 question asked on same lines, not even similar, same lines. So this is a question from 2021 which says, impact of digital technology as a reliable source of input for rational decision making is a debatable issue. Critically evaluate the with suitable example. The other question that we are going to see today is on war ethics. This question is from 2024. It's a 10 marker again. It says, it is not enough to talk about peace, one must believe in it, and it is not enough to believe in it, one must act upon it. In the present context, the major weapon industries of the developed nations are adversely influencing continuation of number of wars for their own self-interest all around the world. What are the ethical considerations of the powerful nations in today's international arena to stop continuation of ongoing conflicts? And this theme has been repeated from this particular question from 2022. Russia and Ukraine war has been going on for the last 7 months. Different countries have taken independent stands and actions, keeping in view their own national interests. We are all aware that war has its own impact on the different aspects of society, including human tragedy. What are those ethical issues that are crucial to be considered while launching the war and its continuation so far? Illustrate with justification the ethical issues involved in the given state of affair. So, guys, these questions, when we look at them, prima facie, might look very different. But fundamentally, the structural aspect of both of these questions is very much similar. Whenever there is a question on war ethics, how are you expected to move ahead? Because, guys, even in 2025 mains, there is very high likelihood that you might see a question on war ethics. Now, the context might be anything. The context might be with respect to Iran, Israel, Gaza, Tigray, even the conflicts which are not discussed a lot. There has already been a question on Ukraine. Guys, whenever there is a question on war ethics, we'll be following a template. First and foremost, just war ethics or just war framework, as we call it. Guys, इन keywords को आपको रट लेना है. Mentioning these keywords in their original form adds a lot of weight to your answers. It shows that the student has made original efforts. ऐसा नहीं कि half hearted effort करके कहीं से कुछ पढ़ के दिल से कुछ लिख रहा है. नहीं, ऑप्शनल वाला जो एक्सपर्टाइज आप लाने की कोशिश करते हो ऑप्शनल पेपर में, एथिक्स में एथिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो वाला एक्सपर्टाइज हमको लेकर आना है. सो इफ देयर आर सम टर्म्स इन लैटिन और सम इन अदर लैंग्वेज, विल ट्राई टू यूज देम एज दे स्टैंड. सो देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज जस्ट एट बेलम, जस्ट इन बेलो एंड जस्ट पोस्ट बेलम. अब इसको इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे तो सबको काफी आसानी से समझ में आ जाएगा, लेकिन इन कीवर्ड्स को याद करना है. सबसे पहला जो ट्रेट है गाइस जस्ट वॉर थ्योरी का, जस्ट एट बेलम. गाइस, डज एनीवन रिमेंबर दिस? अगर आपने ये पढ़ा है पहले.
Sir, why the war should be initiated, like initiation of war.
अच्छा, yes, yes. So guys, basically, if we translate it into simpler terms, just at bellum would mean, was the war something of a last resort? Was it a last resort? And was it initiated for a just cause? Was the cause just? and was war a last resort? So that is just ad bellum. यहाँ पर लाइफ साइकिल की कोई बात कर रहा था, सो अगेन वी आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट दैट ओनली, बस भाषा अलग है. अब यहाँ पर एग्जांपल्स गाइस, एग्जांपल्स तो आप कई दे सकते हो, मैंने यहाँ पर पूरे नोट्स इस चीज के लिए बनाकर लाए हैं आपके लिए. तो एक एक सिंपल अगर एग्जांपल लेना है गाइस, वी कैन यूज पीवाईक्यूज टू द फुलेस्ट एक्सटेंट. We can use, overuse, quote unquote abuse PYQs to the best of our advantage. अब यहाँ पर रशिया यूक्रेन का कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑलरेडी यूपीएससी ने दे रखा है. तो रशियाज इन्वेजन ऑफ यूक्रेन, इट इज वाइडली कंडेम्ड एज अनजस्टिफाइड. was Russia in a position that war had to be conducted? Was it the last resort? And was the cause just be it annexation of Crimea or being direct attacks on Ukraine? So that is just ad bellum. Now there is the second trait, second tenet of just war framework. It is just in below. It is nothing but about proportionality. Just in below. Are military tactics ethical and proportionate? And in other words, you can link this to whether civilians are being involved, are civilians being attacked. अब यहाँ पर काफी रिसेंट एग्जांपल्स आपको अगर लेने हैं तो अटैक्स ऑन सिविलियंस इन यूक्रेन, सीरिया, लेबनान, गाजा, इजराइल में भी सिविलियंस पर अटैक हुआ है, ईरान में हुआ है. सो जस्ट इन बिलो. सो is the war proportionate? Are the tactics ethical? That would be just in below. Second tenet. The third tenet would be जस्ट पोस्ट बेलम. अब पोस्ट से आपको समझ में आ रहा होगा कि वॉर के बाद की स्थिति की यहां पर बात हो रही है. तो जस्ट पोस्ट बेलम इज द पोस्ट वॉर रिकंस्ट्रक्शन, जस्ट एंड रिपेरेटिव. वॉर हो जाने के बाद का सिनेरियो क्या है? व्हाट इज योर एंड गेम? इज योर एंड गेम जस्टिफाइड? अब यहां पर आप एग्जांपल्स अगर लेते हो, इराक का एग्जांपल लो, सीरिया का एग्जांपल लो, लीबिया का एग्जांपल लो, these societies have found it very difficult to stabilize post war. So just post bellum would be applicable over there. Okay, so just add bellum, just in below, just post bellum. Guys, war ethics पर अगर क्वेश्चन आता है and if you don't use just war framework, then your answer is incomplete. Is everyone clear so far? Guys, अब यहाँ पर see, we'll try to use ethical lens whenever it is possible. When you use just war framework, here, even if we give passing reference to Saint Augustine, Saint Thomas Aquinas, or even if we could bring in some international law in our argument, then it would add weight. Passing reference भी दे दिया तब भी काफी weight add हो जाएगा, क्योंकि these are 10 marker questions guys. We have to bring in more dimensions, multiple dimensions. बहुत ज्यादा लिखने का स्कोप नहीं है, लेकिन अगर जस्ट वॉर की बात कर रहे हो, पासिंग रेफरेंस आप दे सकते हो. नाउ मूविंग अहेड फ्रॉम जस्ट वॉर फ्रेमवर्क, गाइस व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय दिस पीस वर्सेस प्रॉफिट? वॉर एथिक्स पर क्वेश्चन आया है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट कुछ भी हो सकता है, बट दिस इज वन एथिकल एस्पेक्ट दैट यू विल बी ब्रिंगिंग इन, पीस वर्सेस प्रॉफिट.
प्रॉफिट तो वॉर मशीन से रिलेटेड हो जाएगा और कंपनी से रिलेटेड हो जाएगा, जो वहां पे वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज का रेफरेंस था पीवाईक्यू में कि
प्रॉफिट सिर्फ एम्यूनेशन कंपनी से जुड़ा हो सकता है क्या?
नहीं सर, जियो पॉलिटिकल प्रॉफिट भी हो सकता है और रिसोर्स भी हो सकता है. जैसे ये भी दे सकते हैं कि मतलब जैसे ऑयल रिच नेशंस पे बहुत ज्यादा पास्ट में अटैक हुआ है इसी कारण, ताकि उनका रिसोर्स एक्सट्रैक्ट किया जा सके. या सब सहारन कंट्रीज में भी का भी एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं कि वो लोग का जो क्या कहते हैं हमेशा कू डेटा होते रहता है और वहाँ हमेशा वॉर का सिचुएशन बना रहता है और वॉर लॉर्ड्स रहते हैं, ताकि वेस्टर्न बोल सकते हैं या अदर कंट्रीज है.
हिमांशु, आप रिलेटिवली ऑफबीट एग्जांपल्स दे रहे हो, जो अच्छी बात है. देखो, जो सबसे कॉमन एग्जांपल्स होंगे तो सब दे रहे होंगे, ठीक है? इजराइल, गाजा, ईरान, एवरीवन विल बी गिविंग. देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन गिविंग इन दिस एग्जांपल्स, लेकिन अगर आप कुछ यूनिक दे पा रहे हो एंड इट हैज टू बी रिलेवेंट. ऐसे नहीं कि यूनिक देने के चक्कर में ऐसा कुछ आप एग्जांपल दे रहे हो जो एग्जामिनर को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है. यूनिक एंड रिलेवेंट, देन इट एड्स वेट. अभी आप ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 के भी अगर बाइट्स देखोगे ऑनलाइन, सो शी हैज बीन एम्फसाइजिंग अ लॉट ऑन दिस, यूनिक बट रिलेवेंट. यहाँ पर पीस वर्सेस प्रॉफिट आपने तो काफी रिलेवेंट एग्जांपल दिए ही हैं. आर्म्स ट्रेड वाली डायलेमा का एग्जांपल भी दिया है कि शुड प्रॉफिट मोटिव्स ओवरराइड द वैल्यू ऑफ पीस एंड सैंक्टिटी ऑफ ह्यूमन लाइफ. और यहाँ पर अगेन एज द वेरी क्वेश्चन हैड आस्क्ड, यूपीएससी ने जो पहले क्वेश्चन डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन भी पूछा था कि defense manufacturers and powerful nations often prioritize economic gain over ethical restraint. Now, guys, I want you to use these keywords because in general, ethics mains is a game of keywords. Ethics is more so a game of keywords. अब यहाँ पे पीस वर्सेस प्रॉफिट की जब बात कर रहा है, ethical restraint by powerful nations is very important. Those nations that supply weapons and fuel prolonged conflicts. यहाँ पर एग्जाम्पल्स भी रेडी रहेंगे. वन एग्जाम्पल कुड बी, अगेन ये थोड़ा सा ऑफ बीट हो गया है, जनरली इसको कम यूज करेंगे बच्चे, क्योंकि जो सामने दिख रहा होता है उसी का यूज ज्यादा हो रहा होता है. वन एग्जाम्पल कुड बी दैट यूएस एंड यूके arms sales to Saudi Arabia during the Yemen war, ठीक है, despite documented civilian casualties. Now there is a dual structure in Yemen. There is this system by Houthis and there is a Yemeni government, right? Houthis is supported by Iran. The Yemeni government is supported by the Western Bloc, Saudis. So this could be one example. इसके अलावा again you all must have heard about the Wagner Group. Now Wagner Group is a mercenary group. It's Russia's private mercenary group, which is a profit-driven enterprise entangled in wars in Ukraine and Africa. So it's like a private army. You pay them and they fight for you. It's a mercenary group. And this practice of mercenaries is not new. It has been quite an old practice. And it was very much prevalent during older times, especially during the medieval times. Now, ethical lens से और इसको देखने की कोशिश करेंगे. Guys, here we could bring in the aspect of corporate responsibility, because at the end of the day, these companies producing arms and ammunitions are corporates. These are corporate houses, and corporate responsibility very much applies to them as well. We talk about corporate responsibility of relatively harmless companies, तो इनके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी बात होनी चाहिए. और अगर आप कोर एथिकल कॉन्सेप्ट लेकर आना चाहते हो, कैन यू ब्रिंग इन डियोंटोलॉजिकल एथिक्स हियर? पासिंग रेफरेंस, डिटेल में बात नहीं कर सकते, उतना स्कोप नहीं है. डियोंटोलॉजिकल एथिक्स कैसे लेकर आओगे विजय?
So humans as end but not as means to achieve anything.
Very good.
We cannot hurt any human.
Okay, so for profit you cannot use humans as means, ठीक है? So peace has to prevail over profit. Deontological ethics or duty-based ethics. Immanuel Kant.
Okay, sir.
Now quickly moving ahead, guys, another important component over here is sovereignty versus global responsibility. Guys, क्या समझ में आता है इस एक्सप्रेशन से, sovereignty versus global responsibility?
सर इसे हम इंडियन सिविलाइजेशनल इथोस जो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम है उससे भी रिलेट कर सकते हैं. लाइक होल वर्ल्ड इज अ फैमिली एंड नॉट जस्ट टू थिंक अबाउट आवर ओन नेशन.
See, there is this term here, versus.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So there is an inherent conflict between these both. So here, when you speak about conflict between sovereignty and global responsibility, so here we are talking about powerful nations who are in a position to fulfill global responsibility, but they are prioritizing their own national interest, right? So guys, this clarity is very important. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam सिर्फ हमको याद है इसलिए हम यहां पर लेकर नहीं आएंगे. Here we are speaking particularly with respect to peace, humanity and justice. वॉर का कॉन्टेक्स्ट है गाइस, लेट्स नॉट फॉरगेट दैट. एग्जांपल आपने बहुत सारे दिए हैं. अगेन रशिया यूक्रेन वाला एग्जांपल डेफिनेटली बनता है, न्यूट्रल स्टांस है इंडिया का. और ईरान का कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे सकते हैं कि काफी सारे सैंक्शंस है, लेकिन इंडिया ने टाइज बनाकर रखे ईरान के साथ बिकॉज इट वाज इन इंडियाज नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, बी इट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लॉजिस्टिकल डेवलपमेंट, ठीक है, इंस्टक की बात हो, चाबार पोर्ट हो या इंपोर्ट ऑफ ऑयल हो. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर contradiction between national interest and global responsibility we'll have to showcase, and we'll have to keep this in mind ki here we are talking more about global powers who are in a position to play that responsible role, especially the Western Bloc. If the Western Bloc wants human suffering, famine like situations, wars can stop at many places, but there are vested interests because of which these go on. ठीक है, say for example in Yemen there is this proxy war between Iran and the Arab bloc, specifically Saudis. It's a war of dominance. Similarly, moving ahead, power versus compassion. Again, war ethics की हम बात कर रहे हैं, guys. What does this connote here?
Yes, sir. I actually think this in a way when there are two parties in a war, the one which is more dominant, when or which is more powerful, when it can actually, be compassionate, but trying to dominate and then, inflicting more damage. In the we can say Israel in the case of Hamas.
Guys, let's
So
let's have clarity on one aspect as well. What you're saying definitely makes sense. It makes perfect sense. But here we can't speak in bilateral terms, like two countries that are at war. Here, when we talk about global ethics, international ethics, here we will always need to bring in great powers into account. ठीक है. Earlier there used to be superpowers and great powers. Now there are no superpowers. USA also has lost that status of superpower. Now there are great powers which are in a position to act globally and bring about peace globally. Now, when you talk about compassion, these great powers have the abilities, have the capability, have the power to bring peace, to bring order, to stop human suffering. But do they choose to do so? Now, when we speak in these parlance, see, the core idea over here is ethical leadership is more about showing empathy beyond borders. मतलब आप directly involved नहीं हो. Like UK is not directly involved in Israel-Gaza conflict. आपने गाजा का example लिया, right? USA is not directly involved. Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Right? But,
Yes, sir, you
but
are.
if the Western Bloc so decides, it can pressurize, and which has started to pressurize the Israel government. Say, for example, the five Western countries have sanctioned two powerful ministers of Israeli cabinet, far right ministers. ठीक है? So this is how Western Bloc have been pressurizing the government. Now here again they are not directly involved, but again due to the rhetoric being used, the
Sir,
rhetoric is
question था.
let me just complete.
Sir,
Let me just complete. The rhetoric being used by those far right members of the government was considered by these Western countries, 5 Western countries to be precise, to be against human values and potentially dangerous, and that's something that might lead to human suffering. So they had to sanction it. So this can be showed as one way of showing compassion beyond your borders. Again, the responsibility falls on great powers. Again, here you can give example of India. The India sending aid to Afghanistan despite having concerns of regime change, potential regime change historically. Yes, Himanshu.
हाँ सर, मैं बोल रहा था इसमें वो डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प का स्टेटमेंट का एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं कि व्हेन डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प सेड दैट वी कैन relocate Ghazians to Indonesia, and he was projecting his power on the
So
civilian
that would come under
population
peace versus
without any.
profit. Peace versus profit. He had spoken of creating resorts in that area, right? So power versus compassion. Guys, make sure of using these keywords. जब आप Western Bloc की बात कर रहे हो, use the term great powers. ठीक है? With great power comes great responsibility. अच्छा, हिमांशु तुमको स्पाइडरमैन वाली मूवी याद आ गई क्या? इसलिए मुस्कुरा रहे हो?
Yes, sir.
समझ में आ गया मेरे. Guys, there is something called as moral universalism. यहाँ पर passing reference भी आप दे दोगे. That would be more than sufficient. गांधीयन ट्रस्टीशिप का यहाँ पर आप रेफरेंस दे सकते हो कि ग्रेट पावर्स हैव द पावर, सो दे आल्सो हैव द रिस्पांसिबिलिटी टू एक्ट. देन एथिकल इनकंसिस्टेंसी. व्हाट इज दैट ethical inconsistency that we see in the domain of IR?
It's selective ethics, or maybe US or some nation which is encourages war in one region, but at the same time speaks about peace in other region.
Very good, very good. So guys, many times scholars point out to this, even if you look to scholars like Mearsheimer. Guys, how many of you have heard about John Mearsheimer?
Yes, sir. Lectures I have seen.
Political science जिनको ऑप्शनल है उनको पता है, they cite Mearsheimer in their answers. Ethics में भी आप cite कर सकते हो. So guys, यहाँ पर थीम यही है कि is ethical consistency sacrificed when strategic interests are involved. अब ड्यूरिंग द, अब यहाँ पर कंपेयर अगर करोगे आप रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर और इजराइल गाजा वॉर और इजराइल पैलेस्टीन वॉर, एथिकल इनकंसिस्टेंसी ये है कि सिविलियन डेथ्स जब यूक्रेन में होते हैं तब अलग बेंचमार्क रखा जाता है, लेकिन जब इजराइल के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में होते हैं तब अलग बेंचमार्क रखा जाता है. एंड दिस थिंग हैज बिकम इवन मोर विजिबल ड्यू टू सोशल मीडिया, द लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग ऑफ the happenings of war has made these things very much visible. And that has brought this inconsistency to the fore. Now, we won't use negative terms like hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is not a very standard word. It's not a very academic word. So ethical inconsistency is what we'll use. Guys, इससे होता क्या है? Ethically inconsistent अगर आप हो, what is the impact of this policy?
Loss of trust.
Very good. Loss of trust and loss of credibility. So, guys, moral relativism से आगे बढ़ते हैं. एक दो चीजें और बची हैं इस टेम्पलेट में. Dehumanization trap, human lives versus cold statistics. Now, guys, this is more of self-explanatory in nature. If I ask this to you, does war turn human beings into numbers? What would you say?
When there is a war, तो human life की as such कोई value नहीं रहती. ठीक है. It is just कि किसके पास कितने soldiers हैं और कितने मर रहे हैं. Like individual life की value खत्म हो जाती है.
Individual value, life की value खत्म हो जाती है. They are reduced to numbers. Fine, I get that. What could be the reasons behind this, guys? And it can be in case of many wars, many conflicts we have seen historically. Hitler का example ले लो, Nazi Germany. Guys, propaganda. Propaganda is one reason. Nazis used to term Jews as rat before they started the actual pogrom. So in this way, they were able to, again, manufacture this consent in ordinary Germans' mind that it was fine, it was okay to kill Jews. This perception was created in the minds of ordinary Germans. Okay? The same thing is visible today with respect to the war between Israel and Gaza. The Palestinians are termed as cockroaches, and there are various aspects of propaganda. Basically, you strip people of their human traits, and because of that, you are less moved if something non-human is killed. Like you won't be hurt that much if an animal was killed and a cockroach was killed, as much you would be moved if a human was killed. Okay? So again, propaganda, dehumanization, and manufacturing of consent.
Prejudice.
Sorry?
Prejudice, stereotypism. Prejudice.
Stereotypes is one component, one part of how propaganda works. Okay? Say, for example, the Nazis used to create this propaganda that the Jews are a shrewd people, always thinking selfishly about earning money and not thinking about the national interest, so on and so forth. So such stereotypes were created about Jews by the Nazi Germany. Only and only when you have these stereotypes would common people allow such bad things to happen against a group of people. Fine, you can apply this to any context where common people are being killed with impunity, without any accountability. A term that you can use here, अगर ethical lens अगर apply करना है यहाँ पे, there is something called as moral disengagement. Like killing of common people doesn't move you if you are morally disengaged. Dehumanization के बाद अगर कोई aspect बचता है, that is information versus manipulation. What do you understand by this?
सर इस बारे में हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि इंडिया ने डेलीगेशन सेंड किया टू डिफरेंट कंट्रीज एंड गिवन द मतलब पूरे एविडेंस वगैरह दिखाए, और फिर पाकिस्तान ने भी वही सेम किया, बट उन्होंने यही बताया कि इंडिया इज they themselves are doing these acts and blaming us.
अच्छा,
तो ये वो मैनिपुलेशन हो गया, और ये हमने जो पहले किया वो इन्फॉर्मेशन हो गया.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. सो सेटिंग द रिकॉर्ड स्ट्रेट, आप इंडिया पाकिस्तान स्टैंड ऑफ के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोल रहे हो. वेरी गुड. सो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, बिकॉज देयर हैज बीन दिस स्टैंड ऑफ बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान. सो व्हाट वर वी डूइंग व्हेन वी वर सेंडिंग डेलीगेशंस टू डिफरेंट कंट्रीज? व्हाट वाज आवर मोटिव?
To give the information that what the action we have taken were not something out of the air. We had enough data, we have enough intelligence about Pakistan's involvement in those acts.
Okay, so we were trying to give out this message to the world regarding the morality, the ethicality of our actions, the responsibility, and the responsiveness with which we acted.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And why it was
Yes, ad bellum.
Why it was necessary to act.
Just ad bellum.
Yes, very good. Now you are linking it to theory. Just war theory. Basically, just war framework को हमने stick किया है. यही समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे दुनिया को, that we did not act irresponsibly and attack civilian sites. Civilian sites को ना करते हुए हमने military sites को attack किया. Right? We tried to cripple their military and defense infrastructure. Was it justified? Was it something of the last resort? Guys, यहाँ पर please एक चीज लिख लो कि the Pakistani establishment, especially at Rawalpindi, when we speak of Rawalpindi, we mention Rawalpindi because the headquarters of Pakistan Army is placed in Rawalpindi. ठीक है? And again, we speak specifically in context of ISI. It has been their stated objective to bleed India with 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
Guys, it's a very powerful metaphor. It's been stated objective to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. Now here, they are speaking about asymmetrical actors, terrorism. ठीक है? Destabilizing India through terror attacks. So India has been trying a lot in the past diplomatically, but Pakistan never stopped their tactics of adhering to this practice of bleeding India through 1,000 cuts. So India had to innovate and treat a terrorist attack as an act of war, and it responded. The reason was to create deterrence. Please ये लिख लो guys. Please write it down. इंडिया का मोटिव पनिश करना नहीं था, ठीक है? Punishment can never be a valid justification. Rather, it was to create deterrence. If you commit another act of state-sponsored terrorism, you will be punished in similar manner. Now, the fear of punishment is what creates deterrence. Although there is another side to it, many scholars also argue that this can also, in a way, backfire, because every time there is a non-state actor doing something mischievous, every time there is some sort of an asymmetric action, then are we going to go to war with Pakistan? Now that is a real dilemma, but you should have this thing in your mind, क्योंकि जब भी आप critically analyze कर रहे हो इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के context में और latest innovation in India's response to terrorism, आपको other side of the coin भी ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? Only and only then you will be able to put a balanced perspective. Fine. So again, we were discussing about India sending its delegations to the world. In a way, just war theory को justify करने की हम कोशिश कर रहे थे, and there was the reason for this was felt because Pakistan was very aggressively playing this game of manufacturing consent. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया war of position पर काफी aggressively पाकिस्तान खेल रहा था और बताने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि how there has been an act of war against Pakistan. But in reality, we were responding after having experienced so many terrorist attacks. लेकिन पाकिस्तान बिल्कुल उल्टा बता रहा था कि it was an unprovoked act of war. So we had to counter it. So we were involved in our own war of position in Gramscian sense. So coming back to this core element, information versus manipulation. Guys, theme यही है कि is media a mirror or a weapon? हम यहाँ पर इंटरनेशनल सेंस में बात कर रहे हैं गाइस, ठीक है? नॉट जस्ट इंडिया पाकिस्तान रिलेवेंट हो जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द स्टैंड ऑफ, लेकिन इंटरनेशनल डोमेन की बात करें, जितने भी वॉर चल रहे हैं ग्लोबली, और खास तौर पर जहां पर वेस्टर्न पावर्स इन्वॉल्व हैं, इवन इन इंडियाज केस द वेस्ट हैड गॉट इन्वॉल्व इन सम वे. एग्जैक्टली किस तरीके से इन्वॉल्व हुआ था वो अभी तक क्लियर नहीं है, लेकिन जिस तरीके से इररिस्पॉन्सिबल स्टेटमेंट्स आए हैं डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के, दैट टेल्स कि द वेस्ट वाज इन्वॉल्व इन सम और द अदर वे, ठीक है, इवन बिटवीन द इंडिया पाकिस्तान स्टैंड ऑफ. सो गाइज, इज मीडिया अ मिरर और अ वेपन? हाउ कैन मीडिया बी यूज्ड एज अ वेपन?
So by being biased towards a particular party.
By being biased towards a particular party. Guys, let's use keywords here. Embedded journalism. Now this term embedded journalism came to the fore during the Iraq war. This is a practice. Originally अगर embedded journalism की बात की जाए, so in practice journalists are attached to military units and they report directly from the site of war. Criticism यही है कि इराक वॉर में मिसलीड की गई थी पब्लिक और सेलेक्टिव नैरेटिव्स बनाए गए थे फ्रॉम द बैटलफील्ड थ्रू एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म. दिस इज व्हाट इज द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म, ठीक है? लेकिन आज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भले ही उस लिटरल सेंस में आप ना देखो, एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म को कि भाई बैटलफील्ड से डायरेक्टली रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है, बट बायस्ड रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है, सेलेक्टिव नैरेटिव्स को पुश किया जा रहा है, ठीक है। यहाँ पर कोई एग्जांपल आप बता सकते हो कि हाउ इज एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म एट प्ले ओवर हियर?
रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर में वेस्टर्न मीडिया ओनली शोड द यूक्रेन साइड ऑफ actions or Ukraine sides
Very
of
good.
victory
Very
mostly.
good, very good. So try to give objective examples. जब आप रशिया यूक्रेन की बात कर रहे हो तो see the recent Ukrainian strike on Russia, the covert strike where it claimed to destroy 40 strategic planes of Russia. It was widely reported. On the other hand, Russia had been arguing that only 5 planes were damaged. Now the dominant narrative in media is that 24 planes were damaged. So from 40 to 24. So Russia is giving a smaller number, Western media is giving a higher number. So one particular narrative is being pushed. Again guys, यहाँ पर silence भी matter करता है. ऐसा नहीं कि media gets complicit just by talking about something. Media gets complicit by not talking about something. Say for example, media's silence in Tigray, media's silence in Yemen. International media की हम बात कर रहे हैं guys. Media's silence in Congo.
Sir, in Bangladesh,
Myanmar. So the media has a moral responsibility to report war fairly. Let's not forget we are talking particularly in the context of war. It has the responsibility to report war fairly without inciting hatred or suppressing truths. Suppression of truth nahi karna hota hai. You have to be objective as possible. You need to verify the facts before reporting them. These are journalistic best practices. Verification of facts.
So sensationalization of news to suppress the major events and then just highlight minor events.
Sensationalization, exaggerating basically. आप exaggerate करने की बात करो. वॉर के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हम बात करें, राइट? जैसे देखो पाकिस्तान ने क्लेम किया था that it had downed 6 Indian aircrafts, ठीक है? And CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, has clearly stated that it is not the case. That is certainly not the case.
Right.
So exaggeration by the media and exaggeration by the state apparatus. वहां पर तो clearly state apparatus ने बोला था कि 6 aircrafts have been, but that piece of information was parroted by Pakistani media and world media as well.
So they also said about S-400, BrahMos, missile stock, and airfields and many things.
Yes. So falsification of facts, exaggeration of facts. So one thing is for sure that some damage has been sustained when it comes to aerial damage. Okay, that has been told and accepted by the CDS. But exaggerating it, that has been done by the Pakistani establishment and media and to certain global media outlets. Definitely exaggeration होता है. और क्या होता है? Now guys, see, जब आप डीप फेक की बात कर रहे हो, देयर कैन बी अ पॉसिबल क्वेश्चन ऑन यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एज अ प्रॉक्सी वॉर फ्रंट, यूज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया आउटलेट्स एंड यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इन क्रिएटिंग पब्लिक परसेप्शन, ठीक है, जब आप डीप फेक की बात कर रहे हो. सो व्हाट रोल डज टेक्नोलॉजी प्ले in creating chaos, in creating confusion, in creating public perception at times of war? ठीक है, अब इंडिया पाकिस्तान के स्टैंड ऑफ के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ये और रिलेवेंट हो जाता है. लक्ष्य क्या बोल रहे हो?
सर मैं ये कह रहा था कि रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन हो सकता है क्या? रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, फॉर एग्जांपल इजराइल ने अल जजीरा को, रिपोर्टर्स को और उसकी एयरिंग को अपनी कंट्री में बंद कर दिया है. तो कैन दैट बी एन एग्जांपल?
अगेन सी दिस टेक्निकल सेंस में दिस वुड बी अपोजिट ऑफ एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म. मतलब इराक में ये क्रिटिसिज्म था कि जर्नलिस्ट को अटैच कर दिया जाता था मिलिट्री यूनिट्स के साथ जहां से वो रिपोर्टिंग करते थे. गाजा में इसका अपोजिट होता है कि इंटरनेशनल जर्नलिस्ट आर नॉट अलाउड टू एंटर गाजा, ठीक है. सो इन टेक्निकल सेंस इट वुड बी अपोजिट ऑफ एम्बेडेड जर्नलिज्म. बट अगेन व्हाट यू आर सेइंग मेक सेंस कि इफ इंटरनेशनल जर्नलिस्ट आर नॉट अलाउड into the enclave, you don't get to independently verify claims from both sides. The independent verification of claims is very important in any war scenario. ठीक है, irrespective
Yes,
of
sir.
which parties are involved. ठीक है, because any party would not want to talk about the excesses it has committed or the
Yes, sir.
reverses it has experienced. Only when you have independent third parties, now those can be international organizations, those can be international journalists, to verify and fact check. You don't get out clear information, and you have to depend on the information coming out from the parties directly involved.
Yes, sir.
And even now it stands equally true both in the case of Israel and Iran as well. Iran also doesn't allow a lot of free reporting. So there is this information asymmetry. Please note this down. जब आप holding back of information की बात कर रहे हो, so you should be using this term, information asymmetry. And a more powerful keyword here would be information deficit. Now this would be applicable where independent third parties are not available to verify the information being given out, and you have to rely on the information being given out by the parties involved. So guys, यहाँ पर इंडिया और पाकिस्तान वाला कॉन्टेक्स्ट हम डिटेल में अलग से डिस्कस करेंगे, आप उस पर क्वेश्चन भी लिखोगे. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू हैविंग अ टेम्पलेट ऑन वॉर एथिक्स पर क्वेश्चन आता है, तो दिस इज व्हाट यू विल हैव टू मेंशन इर्रेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अनुसार आप अपने कंटेंट को चेंज करोगे, लेकिन इस टेम्पलेट से आप दूर नहीं जाओगे. इस टेम्पलेट को यूज करोगे ही करोगे.